All right, Nick Friar, a Red Sox writer for CSNE.com, talking Red Sox and Indians. All right, when we talk about Game 1, Porcello, Game 2, Price, Game 3, Buchholz, do the Red Sox have the pitching advantage in the series?
Absolutely, because now you have Trevor Bauer and Josh Tomlin throwing for the Indians, and those are perfect guys for the Red Sox to hit against. Tomlin worries me a little bit because he's not a hard thrower, and the Red Sox actually do very well against those guys.
Okay.
Corey Kluber, Cy Young candidate, but actually the Red Sox have done well against him in recent history. So there's a lot of good matchups for the Red Sox right now. I'm assuming they're going to lose to Kluber just given that he's really good and Price is throwing against him. So that's kind of a question mark for me.
All right, so you have the Red Sox with the check mark in the starting pitching column. Offense, bullpen, and managing.
Offense goes to the Red Sox without a doubt. As much as the Indians have probably the second best offense in the AL.
Yep.
Surprisingly, they have Kipnis, they have Lindor, Napoli hitting home runs,
Sure.
Santana. They got a lot of offense there. But home runs, when you're relying on home runs, we've seen with the Orioles in the past, that's never a good thing. But then I give that to the Red Sox. Bullpen, I give to the Indians, Andrew Miller and Allen at the back end of that bullpen.
Yep.
But I mean, that's the one thing that obviously can make a big difference. We've seen with the Royals the past couple of years, but I don't think that's going to make the difference against the Red Sox, given the advantages that they have right now. And then manager, I also give that to the Indians. Terry Francona.
And you're a big Farrell guy.
I like Farrell. Don't get me wrong, but Terry Francona is. I think he's the best manager in baseball.
Yeah,
it's not a
great.
knock on Farrell. It's just that Francona's. But I don't think that's going to make that much of a difference.
Maybe
really,
some late inning stuff, but with the roster he has all banged up, Tito Francona has done a great job. Did the Red Sox blow it by blowing home field advantage? We know they've done well on the road, but they'd probably prefer to be in Boston Thursday and Friday. Is this a big deal?
They don't think it is. I talked to some of the guys after the game, after the loss. Benintendi, Robbie Ross. They really weren't fazed by it. They actually have the same record on the road as they do at home.
Unbelievable.
That's crazy. It's like separated by one win, I think. I was shocked when I looked at that number. But at the same time, the Indians played better at home. Most of the teams played better at home. So that does put the Red Sox still at a slight disadvantage than if they were playing at Fenway. But, I think they blew it. I don't think they took advantage of it. But part of that's because they were probably tired from all the Ortiz ceremonies. I was tired from Sunday from the Ortiz ceremony. It just never ending.
It'd be a storybook ending if Ortiz plays great this playoffs, hit a home run, rides off into the sunset. Do you expect him to go out with a bang?
Absolutely. Everybody's been saying this recently, like you almost expect him to, come up in that big moment. It's surprising when he doesn't. And I feel the same way. I've been watching him since, 2003, so when I was a kid. It's just, it doesn't make sense how he does so well in those situations, but it's like he's more comfortable in those
flair
spots.
for the dramatic.
Yeah.
We know how important bullpen pitching is in the playoffs, especially on the back end. Craig Kimbrels struggled the last week of the regular season. Are you worried about that ninth inning?
What I'm worried about is that they're talking about him having mechanical issues. And at this point in the year, you shouldn't be talking about that stuff. You understand it, make a minor adjustment here and there, but that's something mid-season, spring training, those are the times that you work on that stuff. I understand what he's talking about. He's saying that he's yanking it. If you watch, he misses his glove side, so in the lefty's batter's box. Sometimes he'll miss up and in the righty's batter's box too. And I get he's working kind of rotationally, not a good thing, but that's not something you can worry about because that can turn into a mental problem. And then when it becomes a mental problem, all bets are off and you're in trouble.
All right, let's get your prediction. Best of 5 series, Red Sox or Cleveland, and in how many games?
3-1. No questions asked, in my opinion. The Red Sox should be taking care of business against this pitching staff that was the best pitching staff in the American League until they got Salazar and Carrasco get injured. But without those two, they're really not that good. Honestly, of the 5 teams that made it in the AL, I think they're actually, they're fourth. The Orioles are the only team that I thought were worse than them going in.
So you think they split in Cleveland and Red Sox wrap it up?
Yes.
Back in Boston?
Buchholz gets the win, and then they take care of it in Game 4.
All right, great stuff. Read Nick Friar on Twitter for great insight throughout this playoff run at NG Friar, and thanks so much for coming in, Nick.
Absolutely.